I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home. When I'm just so far from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to this world lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of the nightmare, but when I stopped to see through sight, begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes now, try to change them to sunshine, to be someone among others. I can try to if I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have the time to find. If I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'm falling asleep when I'm home. When I'm there's no way to go, no one that can see. If I bleed tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back. It is the Boar's Nest Monday Night Raw Preview Review Show. I am your host, making my glorious return to podcasting, and long awaited. I've been away for a couple of weeks. I am OMD. It is a pleasure to be joined tonight by my partner from the Raw Patrol, Mr. Chris Best. Thank you for joining me, my friend. How are we doing?
Yeah, it was kind of a last-minute join, but here I am.
I appreciate it, buddy. I'm glad you could be here. So we are going to break down what happened on Raw. I don't remember much from Raw last week. My mind has been elsewhere the last couple of weeks, focusing on family and vacation.
I did have something I wanted to talk about based off last week's Raw, and it's something that I'm kind of glad that we're getting the wheels starting to spin a little bit more on.
Okay.
And that's Chad Gable finally finding himself some partners to help him out in this Wyatt Six situation in the Creed brothers as they attacked Bo Dallas last week. So it was nice to finally see one of the members of the Wyatt Six in the ring taking bumps again. And I'm glad it was Bo Dallas that was doing it, because Bo Dallas is a bump machine.
Right. And not only that, like, he was out unmasked, he was out as Bo Dallas, not out there as Uncle Howdy.
Right. So it seems to me that Uncle Howdy is going to be like an alter ego,
right,
of Bo, perhaps.
So kind of like what we saw with Bray Wyatt and The Fiend.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. We also saw the very emotional interview on the VHS tape with Eric Rowan.
Dude, that broke my heart hearing that interview.
Oh, man, the tears, like, that was right in the feels.
And did you happen to catch what Amanda Huber tweeted afterwards?
I missed that.
It was just a straight up thank you. This is just, give me 1 second here. I can probably pull up the tweet here. Amanda Huber. Trying to figure out how to find the tweet.
And now, while you are looking this up,
Oh, yeah, here it is.
okay,
I found it on Reddit, thank God. So she tweeted, she shared the video, of course, of the Rowan interview, and she tweets, "Not Brody and I crying this morning." So they watched the interview. Brody Jr. obviously shedding tears over it.
absolutely. So I'm going to ask on that, do we start to see the Wyatt Six unmasking over the next little bit of time as opposed to getting them into a match?
I think what we're gonna get right now is because we had the 2 weeks with Uncle Howdy or Bo Dallas doing the interview, and then last week we had Rowan doing it. Maybe we get more Rowan tonight, and it seems like 2-part interviews for each one of them,
Right,
or maybe we get the others tonight.
right. And who in your mind would be the next one? Like, if we're not going to go with Rowan as being the next one unmasked on TV, who would you see as the next one being?
I really because right now, after this, we're venturing away from guys who weren't associated with Bray in a previous time.
Right.
So that would be, I suppose, Nikki Cross. You could still say had some affiliation to Bray, given that her and Alexa Bliss were tag team partners at one time.
Right.
So there's a part of me that wants to see Joe Gacy do an interview.
Right. See, and I'm wondering if they leave Joe Gacy for last because he was a call up from NXT, so nobody is anticipating him, even though we all are.
Another one that's going to be really entertaining to see is Dexter Loomis, because I don't see him saying anything in the interview. I see him just sitting there stone faced and just looking like he's going to fucking kill you.
What about portraits? What about his heart?
I never even thought about that, because those were the drawings were featured. There were drawings featured in the build up to everything that's going on right now. That could be interesting too. And Nikki Cross, she gives fantastic interviews as it is. So.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah. Oh, geez. I'm also trying to remember everything that happened last week. I mean, the one thing that obviously does stick to my mind is the Bo Dallas thing. The whole Wyatt Six, everything Wyatt Six related last week stuck out very heavily in me. Trying to think of you know what, I'm gonna jog my memory here, and I should have actually done this prior to going on the show.
Good evening, Bulkster. Thank you for the compliment. Are you coming in to join us, my friend? We would greatly appreciate it. We also have the lovers quarrel between Dominic Rhea and Liv Morgan carried over. We have the CM Punk Drew McIntyre situation carrying over. And it almost feels like the matches last week, as fantastic as they were, it almost seemed like they were secondary to these storylines.
So I don't know how I just came across it, but I just came across a word by word promo of the Liv Rhea Dom segment from last week. Like, somebody actually wrote down everything they said. Okay. And I'm not going to say the entire thing because that was like a 15-minute segment.
Right.
But no, I'm reminded of that and just how awesome it was. How Dom definitely feels like we're getting a custody of Dom match between Rhea and Liv.
Right.
We all know Rhea is looking for the championship match, a championship rematch against Liv, or a championship match against Liv in general. just looking forward to that too. We also had Sheamus and Bronson Reed, and I remember that match just being a knockdown, drag out brawl between the two men.
I want to put the term banger after banger after banger on that match.
Yeah, and when I first saw that was coming, I'm like, this is going to be a hard hitting match between the two men,
right?
I kind of wanted Bronson to pull out the win, but Sheamus got the victory on that one.
Right.
And I said this last week about Bronson too. I said I wanted Bronson to win because I feel like Bronson could use the win.
Absolutely, he could. Bronson, unfortunately for me, and I mean, as much as I love the guy, he again came back, was pushed as this dominant force, and yet he's very rarely winning. Even in triple threats, he may not be the guy taking the pin, but he's not getting the wins.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who is a former NXT North American champion, probably should have the Intercontinental strap on him.
Yeah, I kind of... I'm thinking that should Sammy drop the IC title, Bronson might be the more fitting option for that. Because I don't see Gunther going back to the IC title because obviously he's going for the WWE title. Yeah. Or the World Heavyweight title, I should say. So I made a mistake just right now in my preview for the show on our description here.
Okay.
And so did everybody else on the internet. As last week we saw an in-ring return, and I'm talking about the in-ring return of one Sonya Deville. And I gotta say, man, I was glad to get the ass-kicking Sonya Deville. I've been wanting that Sonya Deville for years, and I'm glad we got that one back.
Absolutely. And we've got the Bulkster. He is here. Wearing a Nickelback t-shirt. Come on, man.
Yeah, specifically for you guys, man.
Nickelback Burn It to the Ground was the Raw theme 3 years ago. Come on.
No, it wasn't. Not 3 years ago.
Maybe longer.
Way longer than that. Way longer than that.
Oh, shoot.
Although 3 years ago, Raw, I did want to burn it.
Right?
I see some things haven't changed.
No. How are we doing, Bulkster? Welcome back to the show.
It was that bad.
You were doing pretty good. Like I said, I looked at the wife when she heard you speak up and say, "Hey, join in." And I looked at her and I said, "What, do you care?" See ya.
Nice.
So I was like, "Yeah, okay."
So
I'm
Bulkster,
okay.
before you came in, before you came in, Bulkster, we were talking about Sonya Deville. And her in-ring return last week and how she just kicked the living shit out of Zelina Vega.
Yeah. I think she is more relevant now than she ever has been.
I won't say that yet. I do understand and appreciate where you're coming from. But I think that I'm hoping they get a push, or all three of them get a push. And especially in this day where, again, we are hearing rumors of secondary women's titles for both brands.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. I think this will bring a bit of fresh air for those three. And not sure why it takes all three for them to show dominance, but as long as they get, the clear path to show their dominance, and I mean, they could have done that with just Shayna and Zoe, but they just kind of held them back. Said, "Hey, well, you're going to lose these people. You're going to lose these people."
Exactly.
I don't know.
It was the booking decisions they had with Zoe and Shayna, which, okay, great. You make them this powerhouse team, and then they lose every title match they get.
I mean, it would have been a good push in their favor if, say, those two, like, you know how Damage Control's kind of leading the charge, and you know them. It'd be cool to see those two girls just kind of beat up three people, you know, and be able
Right.
to handle themselves against the odd numbers.
Well,
That's-
here's the thing. Okay, so we got Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark. They, I'm glad that Sonya Deville is coming back, and she's gone back to the MMA ass kicking Sonya Deville that we had in NXT years ago. So
Yeah.
jacked about that. I'm finally glad that right now Damage Control now has a stable that they can possibly feud with.
Yes. And we can get some change. I mean, we're seeing the slow turn of Damage Control to babyface, I think.
I was going to say, even though currently right now they're both heels, somewhere down the line, one of those two teams could turn babyface. And honestly, it's not Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, or Sonya Deville, because I've seen Shayna do babyface, and she's yeah.
As we are seeing throughout all of WWE, both the men's and women's divisions, we are seeing a number of 3-person factions.
Correct.
Right.
I'm going to only pose this to the women's division for this. Do we see a women's trios title if we can get some more factions?
I don't want any more belts in the WWE.
Okay.
We have enough there.
We do.
Well, I wouldn't mind a women's intercontinental because, like I said, the women don't have as many titles as the men do.
Right, but there's also not as many women on the roster as there are men.
Right. And I mean, unless you're going to all of a sudden completely replenish NXT with level up and next in line performers who are still trying to cut their teeth at it and call up the rest of the NXT women's locker room.
And let's not forget now, we've got the NXT TNA thing going on, and now NXT and TNA people are going after NXT or TNA titles.
Right.
Yeah. Until we actually see a title change of inner promotions, I don't think that is really counting, you know, because you're not. For me, it's going to be like, I'll see it to believe it if WWE puts a title on a TNA person, or vice versa. TNA puts a title on a WWE person. So it's a good gimmick. It's a good, ooh, this could happen. But until I see it and be shocked and awed,
Right.
I'm just going to think, well, that's going to end in some kind of shenanigans, where it's going to be DQ'd, or and so it's a good dream match, they like to say, but as in seeing the title switch hands on their promotion, I'd have to see it, and I'd love to be surprised, but until we don't know if it'll happen.
Yeah.
Another question I'm going to pose for both the Shayna, Zoe, and Sonya, as well as Damage Controls, could we see, with those two teams, if they're feuding over the NXT tag titles, both of them employ the Freebird rule until one of those three gains a singles title if they add an Intercontinental or a U.S. title for the women?
I kind of like that. I have always been a fan of the Freebird rule.
Didn't New Day do that for a little bit?
Yeah, New Day did it. The Spirit Squad did it. Geez, there was a lot of teams who have done that.
Yep.
It would be interesting. I wouldn't mind it, because then if someone gets injured, they get a backup.
Mm-hmm. And that was the whole point of the Freebird too. Also, with the Freebirds, like, you never knew which members of the Freebirds you were going to fight if you were going after their tag titles.
Right.
Did we get any clarification?
I believe even Demolition did it at a very brief point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for a very, very, very brief time, because Axe was on his way out when they brought Crush in. Terry, you were going to say something?
Did we get any clear? Was Zelina Vega written off TV with injury, or was that just to show dominance for Shayna and them?
To show dominance.
Show dominance. Okay, I didn't know if it was like an injury angle, like hey, she needs to have surgery or something, and that she might not be on TV for a little while.
No. I think we'll see Zelina back competing for a title post SummerSlam once we know who wins between Liv and Rhea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm hoping that doesn't. I'm hoping Liv keeps it. I would love to have a reign of some kind. I don't know how I want to end with Dom and them. I don't know if Dom turns on Rhea or how it happens, because Rhea's, like you said, as a face now.
I think that storyline has so much. Unfortunately it's going to be one of those dragged out storylines, probably until Bad Blood in October.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to say right now because, when you got Mommy really pissed off, she can do some dangerous things in that ring.
That she can.
Wouldn't it be interesting if they do what they did with China and have her at some point face Dom in a match, in an actual wrestling match? That would be good.
That would be interesting. I could definitely see it.
Mm-hmm.
I could also see them going with Dom in a special guest referee role.
Yeah.
And then
Dom powder out.
Speaking of like special referees or anything like that, we got CM Punk making his return tonight. Drew McIntyre was on the show last week, I believe, or was he still under his suspension?
Drew was brought back last week to see if he could do business, but ended up remaining on suspension because he wouldn't apologize to the officials.
Right, and then Seth Rollins had come out during that too.
Yes.
Rollins also interrupted Punk the week prior. Where does Seth Rollins fit in with this whole CM Punk Drew McIntyre situation at this stage in the game? He's got nothing at SummerSlam right now.
He's got nothing, and I mean, it's really, that's just throwing him in to put him into a major storyline because he's Seth Rollins. I'd say, personally, I'd rather you give him SummerSlam off.
But is it really? I mean, he was still involved in the world title segment at WrestleMania that involved Punk and Drew as well.
He was.
He was also involved when Punk returned and Drew stormed out at Survivor Series last year.
Absolutely. I've been hearing that there is talks of making him the special referee for that match.
I'd be okay with that.
It's going to be interesting, that whole dynamic with Drew, Seth, and CM Punk. I mean, we want their individual matches, but it could lead into a triple threat.
I mean,
grudge match.
If you were going to do that, you leave that triple threat match for, well, or do we go to 3 4-man teams for War Games?
I don't know.
or a first ever triple Hell in a Cell.
We've had a 6-man Hell in a Cell.
Oh, okay. Well, have we ever had a triple threat Hell in a Cell?
Yes, quite a few times.
Okay, well, shoot. I was hoping it's the first.
But no, I don't want to see a 3-team War Games because I firmly believe that the male War Games is going to be a Bloodline War Games match.
Right. Okay.
But what I could see happening here. Okay, so we had Drew and Seth for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. Punk was the special commentator for that. Now we're getting Drew and Punk if Seth is the special referee for that. Now, what if we get Punk and Drew or Punk and Seth and Drew is involved, like he's a special timekeeper or something like that. And then
I
we
can
get
see
a
it,
triple
but
threat
that's-
match.
If we're gonna keep doing that, it's just beating a dead horse.
No, it's not. Watch the way Triple H books things, dude.
It's the same thing involving the same three guys. For me, it's beating a dead horse. It's let's do the same thing over and over again, all for each of these guys to get a win.
I don't think Drew's going to have any type of match unless he has a match with Punk. Regardless, I don't think he's going to have any part in the match. I don't think with the dynamic between him and Pierce, it's going to end up in a match of some kind.
Yeah, I'm talking after SummerSlam though, because it is SummerSlam that it's guaranteed Punk and Drew is happening at SummerSlam. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Well, unless they wait till Bad Blood.
I could see that triple threat happening at Bad Blood.
You could do triple threat even at Survivor Series.
You could. Going back to last week as well, we had Damian Priest and Braun Strowman non-title. This was Damian Priest taking care of the Judgment Day's Braun Strowman problem.
Yeah, he was out there handling the problems that JD and Finn, more specifically, have been having troubles with.
Yes. Doing what a real leader does.
But notice he's started doing that when Mommy came back.
You know what? I beg to differ because I've sort of seen it throughout where Rhea was the one constantly going to the office and doing all of the stuff on behalf of Judgment Day. He was doing it as a leader and delegating throughout the entire time that Mommy was gone. No, you guys go and do this. You guys go take care of your problem. You guys clean up your own mess.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait for one of us to do it for you. And this was a great match. Another hard hitter back and forth. And everybody knows I am not a Braun Strowman guy.
We'll make him turn the corner.
I can run around the ring and knock people down.
Dude, every time you say that, I'm going to dare you the next CWE show. Every time you say that, I'm going to add one lap to you running around the ring. I want to see if you can do it. I'm challenging you on that one.
You like Braun Breaker, don't you?
I do, but I mean, he's getting to that point as well.
Running around the ring.
We do know that Braun Strowman has now has to consult with an orthopedic surgeon for both of his knees. So was this a way to, again, write Braun Strowman off as we did with back when he was teaming with Ricochet? Or do we see Braun come out and make a plea or get written off TV this week?
He might be gone now. He might not actually. He might just be written off from this loss because he was really favoring his knees during this match. So they wouldn't really have to do anything different. And it makes Damian seem strong because he's the one that took him out.
Right.
So if they have him beat down by all of Judgment Day, it makes it seem like Damian couldn't do it on his own. I just think it makes him look stronger. Like he could actually brag about it. You know, when they were ready to bring Strowman back, he could I took out the world's monster among men. Blah blah blah.
Right.
He has that on his belt.
Right. No, this match was definitely designed to continue pushing Damian as the star that he needs to be, being that he is our world heavyweight champion.
Right.
By giving him these credible opponents, because Braun is a credible opponent. Seth is too. Jay was to a certain degree. Jay's also on his way up on the card too. So, no, this was just designed to continue to build Damian as a star, because even after he loses the title to Gunther, I'm already going out and saying that he's dropping the belt. But this also gives Gunther another contender for when he wins the title, or if he wins the title.
Right. So, yes, and I know I've been hearing, and this is all of the marks saying, oh, how lackluster each and every one of the new champions from WrestleMania's reigns have been. And how Priest hasn't had credible opponents. Sammy hasn't had credible opponents. Bailey hasn't had. Then go watch another company if you don't like the storylines, if you don't like the direction it's going.
Go watch All Empty Wrestling, where they change the title like every 5 months. Understand these some of these people who complain about that are people who, like, because Terry, OMD, and myself, we all come from a time from when long-term booking made sense. Putting a title on a guy for a year was not a problem for us.
Right.
So we understand what long-term booking is and how they go about doing this. We knew, like, even as children, Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, the year-long build from WrestleMania 4 to WrestleMania 5, we knew where they were going. We knew eventually Hogan and Savage were going to fight for the title.
Yep. So, again, as well, I'm going to go back now. Last week, we also then saw Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark defeat KC Squared, which now is going to create a 6-woman tag match tonight.
Right.
Your thoughts on this match? We are getting Lyra Valkyria with KC Squared against Shayna, Zoe, and Sonya.
And I'm going to correct you on that one, OMD, because it's only a one-on-one match between Lyra and Sonya.
That's what I put on the chat when I looked it up. That's what it said. It is so in a 6-man. I thought maybe it's something new since I put it out there. Put up on the chat.
Okay, well, there is my prediction for tonight. That match is going to have shenanigans and become a 6-woman.
There you go.
This match is actually very hard for me to predict because of the fact that Lyra is on her way up on the card. Sonya just returned, so you might want to give her a few wins to really kind of settle where she's going to be,
Right.
I got to agree with OMD. I think Lyra is going to go back and forth. Lyra's going to start getting the momentum. She's going to get ready for the finish. Shayna and Zoe's going to jump, beat her down just enough for KC and them to run out and do a save. Mm-hmm. And then next week will be 6-woman tag.
I think you're going to see KC Squared at ringside along with Zoe and Shayna.
It could.
And then we get 6-man tag right then and there. Like maybe like 2-3 minutes into the fight, everything just blows up, and then suddenly Adam Pearce is like, "Hey, 6-man tag."
Yeah. Where's Teddy Long when we need him?
Yeah.
Where's Taylor?
Well, he's out trying to make somebody go one-on-one with the Undertaker. Oh, geez. No, I forget what I was going to say now. As I'm looking through I'm still trying to scroll through the promo with Eric Rowan, the Eric Rowan interview I'm going through. Terry, we talked about that before you got in the show. I kind of want to get your thoughts on that promo.
I love it. Like I said, I felt the emotion. I mean, I don't get too emotional about the stuff, but I did feel the emotion coming through what he was saying. Mm-hmm. And I did hear everything about, Luke Harper's wife and son, they really got touched by that. I think it's excellent way to introduce these. And I kind of hear you guys were asking about, you think they're going to be like unmasked? I think so. I think eventually they won't even use their masks at all. Maybe just for promo, like to scare people. But
I was going to say the masks may be like an alter ego kind of deal,
Yeah. I don't think they'll ever wrestle with them on. It's more of a fear tactic type thing.
I do.
You think they'll wrestle with that big bunny mask on?
No,
That thing's
I
so
don't think
awkwardly
Rowan will.
big.
The bunny
So-
mask, no, but I could see, like even Mercy's mask, no, but I mean Gacy's, yes.
No on Gacy's. I will tell you that right now because that is a gas mask. And it is so fucking hard to breathe in those things. I've worn them in the
I
military.
honestly
I
think it's just,
guarantee you, Gacy will not wear that mask.
I don't think any of them will wear a mask. I think it's mainly going to be for promos and for, coming out to the ring and scaring the bejesus out of them. But I think when it comes to, I don't even know when they have a match, official match, I don't even know if they'll come to the ring with the mask and take it off, or if they'll just come. I think they're introducing us to the characters behind the mask,
Yes.
so they don't have to wear the mask when they come out to the ring for matches and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think if
That's
we
what I
get if we get to a point where it is Judgment Day, provided they haven't broken up versus the Wyatt Six, and you get Demon Balor and Damian Priest bust out Punishment Martinez.
I kind of want Damien to bring back Punishment.
Right? We saw that a while back when they're like, you are the punishment, you are the executioner of the Judgment Day.
But no, I want to explain a little bit about like because the type of mask that Gacy wears, yes, it is a pig-related mask, but you can clearly tell that it was made from a military grade gas mask. And when those things suck up to your face, you almost have no oxygen to breathe other than this tube here. And all that's hooked up there is like a filter. And the way Gacy's is it's just oxygen going back in. So he will not be able to breathe with that when wrestling. And as you know, OMD, being in the ring, breathing is of the utmost importance.
Yep.
That's funny.
All right.
Didn't mean to shut you down that way, OMD. Just had to explain,
no worries. It's all good. Last week we also get main event Jey Uso versus Dirty Dom.
This was actually a very entertaining match. I was pretty thrilled with it. I want more Jey and Dom. I kind of want Jey to get involved with this whole Rhea Ripley kind of situation.
Right.
The whole his whole doing the promo backstage and asking Rhea to go to Waffle House with him, like that was awesome.
Right. So post SummerSlam, do we see Rhea and Jey take on the team of Dom and Liv?
I don't know if we get that. I'm not sure because I'm trying to figure out like where we go with Rhea afterwards. I know Rhea and Liv can spin off and do their own one-on-one thing, and Dom just quietly exits out of that feud.
I think Dom really wants to stay with Rhea, though. I really think it's not a ploy. I think he really wants to, I don't think it's a swerve. I think Liv is making it seem awkward, but I think Dom is really trying to make things right with Rhea, kind of like Eddie did with China.
Absolutely, he is. And we are seeing all of that, and I agree with where you're coming from.
But
I think Dom wants the two mommies.
I'm gonna put this out here. Terry, you said Eddie tried to do right by China, but he didn't. SummerSlam 2000. China wins China won the Intercontinental title that night. Only for the next night for Eddie to take the title from her on a roll-up. Stole the victory from her, stole the belt from her.
Yeah, that's right. There hasn't been another woman to win the IC title yet either.
Nope.
No, there hasn't. So I think we see this play out potentially until Bad Blood, when Dom goes out and actually costs Rhea the women's title in what could be her final attempt at getting it from Liv inside Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we don't even know if we're getting Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood. We just naturally assume that because Bad Blood did have two Hell in a Cells at two Bad Blood pay-per-views that we are going to get one.
Yes. Bad Blood was also
Sorry, 3. I forgot about the Shawn Michaels Triple H 47-minute epic that happened
Yes,
the
but
following
Bad Blood
year.
was also the creation of Hell in a Cell, so I'm pretty sure we're going to get one. Because I haven't seen the Hell in a Cell PLE listed at all this year.
There's so many different matches that could qualify for Hell in a Cell. It's hard to choose what will make it and what won't.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many options.
So
There's so much bad blood.
This was a fantastic match. I mean, are we going to get a, my God, that's got to be Kane moment this year? I'd highly doubt it, but.
No, I'm trying to picture Rhea and Liv inside Hell in a Cell, and I might have to go on 2K24 and simulate the match just to see how it plays out. But I got another. You've been mentioning fantastic matches tonight, OMD. But let's talk about what was definitely the match of the night last week. Intercontinental title match. Sami Zayn, Ilya Dragunov. Wow, is all I have to say about that one.
Can I have some more, please?
Yeah.
Can I have some more, please?
Let's pull out the Oliver Twist and say, please, sir, may I have some more?
It was all good until Braun had to come out.
Actually, it was awesome that Braun made it out too, because of the fact that we're now building these list of contenders for Sami, and Braun still, he wants his shot. Ilya wants his shot. We could see triple threat between these 3 dudes, and this is all 3 of them are going to just tear the house down if that does happen.
Absolutely. If they go that route for SummerSlam, there is your showstopper match of the night.
To use a Turnbuckle Talk reference there. No, I'm just was just totally blown away. I've gone back and watched the match about 3 times last week, by the way.
So we're gonna see. None of them are right now booked for a match, but they could be, or at least a segment, probably.
I think we are going to get that match announced tonight.
I was just going to
say, look, this is unfinished between Ilya and I due to Braun's interference. Can I get a triple threat with both of them?
And Pierce is going to be like, you got it.
Yeah.
Or we're going to see Ilya and Braun maybe fight, and the winner gets the number 1 contendership or something like that. And I know we get a lot of number 1 contenders matches. We got one coming this Friday with the Gauntlet battle, the Gauntlet tag team match.
Yes, which I am anticipating SmackDown's newest tag team to make their debut.
Yeah, it's not happening. It's already been announced who's all in the match.
Oh, Machine Guns? I figured they'd go to NXT.
No, apparently they are set to debut on SmackDown.
Oh, cool. See, and Bulkster said it first.
On that note, because I believe Carl is doing his shoot job tonight, I gotta head out so I can get the show started for the Raw Patrol, guys.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Best, for joining us here on the Raw Preview Review Show. I will run your socials for you so you can go and do your thing, brother.
All right.
I will see you over there on the Raw Patrol.
See you later.
All right. Have a good rest of your show, guys.
We will. Thank you, Mr. Best. Great to have you on.
Yes, always. And
all right. And so, Bulkster, we only have 2 other matches. Well, do we see, we're talking about it now. Do we see Braun Breaker's rampage continue tonight on Raw?
Yeah, we most likely. It depends. I mean, I know Pierce did a Twitter or X video, addressing Braun. He didn't really specify on how he's going to handle it. Because he said he's done this, he's done that. I don't know. I mean, the only way he's going to keep Braun from interfering in the match is to put him in the match, but if he doesn't want to buckle down to it, have him. This is an old. I think I see it in WCW where they put a guy in a cage outside the ring, where they can't
Right.
interfere in the ring. That is, or just locked in there. I was thinking, there's your Hell in the Cell. It's got to be Kane.
But
You
I
can have
think
a
what
Hell in
you're
the
going to
Cell.
do, I think what you're going to see in that case is it's going to be a case where Braun pulls the bars apart and comes through
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Due to my own personal fear of heights, I do not want to see a shark cage match where they hang the guy above the ring.
Yeah,
Please, no, do not let me see that.
but no, I think I don't know if they'll do a rematch of Sammy versus Iliad today, but I know they'll address it. Iliad might have a match against somebody else. I don't know. I don't really know where they're how they're trying to tie this into SummerSlam. I don't know if they're tying into a triple threat or if they're
I'm wondering,
trying to.
and I'm going to pose this one because if we're going to lead into SummerSlam and then Bash in Berlin, because we got to remember that Bash in Berlin is up at the end of August.
Yeah.
And I wonder if we see the return from Ludwig Kaiser tonight to inadvertently help Dragunov, because we know that Dragunov and Gunther have history.
Yeah. Yeah, you could.
Could we see the build up to a new Imperium or a run for Kaiser and Dragunov as tag champs?
Yeah, you could. I'm just kind of thinking of ideas of what they could do where it would kind of drag out the storylines where it would run through SummerSlam and maybe into that is Bash of Berlin next after SummerSlam?
Yes,
so say
like 2 weeks after.
Say if Pierce could get Braun to agree, say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have you have a match at SummerSlam, you versus Iliad. It's going to be a number one contender match. As long as you agree, there's going to be no outside interference by anybody. I'm banning everybody from ringside. They have an actual good one-on-one match, and the winner of that will go on to Bash at Berlin and face Sammy for the IC title. But Braun has to sign a contract saying that he will agree with the decision or he's going to be let go or fired or whatever not. That would kind of be interesting because then hey, this is going to be a banger of a match at SummerSlam. Even if it's not for the title, it's going to be for a chance at the title. And I think that is just as lucrative as having the title on the line there.
Right.
I would like to see that. That would be kind of interesting. And that might be the way to, because Braun's biggest issue is everybody's getting involved in his match.
And he's getting involved in everybody else's.
So let's have a straight one-on-one match. No one interferes on either side, or they are going to, and if who best man wins, or do like a last man standing, but still no one is allowed to interfere, like some kind of stipulation where even though it's no DQ, no one can interfere.
Right.
Something in that fact. I think that would keep Braun okay. I don't know.
All right.
And even if he lost.
I think we got one more match to discuss for tonight. And this is probably a match that I think a lot of us are throwing away. We have Xavier Woods teaming with Akira Tozawa and Otis. So I will call it the New Academy.
Yeah.
Versus the Final Testament.
That it'll be interesting. I still think, I think they don't know really what they want to do with they want to use Akira Tozawa and Otis. I just don't know if they really know what they're going to do with them now. They're not. They're the new Alpha, unless they're not even because they're the Alpha Academy. I
But
just
they can drop that name now because they are not with Chad Gable anymore.
Yeah, hopefully they're not going to be considered the New Day.
Right?
But
no, I'm going to go with this, and I'm wondering, do we see one of those three in Xavier, Otis, or Tozawa? Do we see any one of them turn and join the Final Testament?
That's what I was kind of thinking that might happen, but I don't know if they'll drag it on because Otis and Akira has no beef with Final Testament. As far as I know, it was them helping out Xavier.
Yep.
So,
but they're going in to help out Xavier, who Final Testament has been pushing to get.
Yeah. So if any of them would,
so we're all leaning towards the idea of, okay, well, this is where Xavier's going to turn.
Yeah.
But I wonder, do we maybe get Kofi returning tonight from his injuries and going heel? Do we get Tozawa for the first time get out of this? I'm not a joke. I'm somebody to actually be taken care of. Do we get Otis saying, look, these guys appreciate what I can do. These guys can appreciate what I can bring as a big man, as a powerhouse. I can carry a single strap.
I would like any of it. I mean, anything that's going to elevate them. I mean, right now, Final Testament's kind of like one of these. I enjoy seeing them. They, as in, they just got to be booked where they are. And they're booking them very slowly. They're not keeping them at the top of the card. They're kind of they could elevate guys that are kind of lost in the shovel because they are interesting. It just where they're going to go with this. They are very a generic ministry.
Yes. And I am actually very disappointed by that. I'm a huge fan of both Karrion Kross and the AOP. I think they need to maybe drop Paul Ellering or put him as a mouthpiece for an Otis or a Tozawa.
Yeah. I mean, I know why they brought him back is because he was the initial manager of AOP, but I mean, I don't know.
He hasn't brought anything to the table.
Because he used to be the manager of LOD, right?
Yes.
And that was basically, was he anything in the between there? Like,
he actually did at one point turn his back on LOD and start managing the DOA, the Disciples of Apocalypse, 8 Ball and Skull.
Okay. All right. So I don't remember too much of that interaction. I only remember bits and pieces of him managing LOD. It wasn't long. He wasn't very. He was never memorable.
Oh yes, he was.
Oh, for me, I wasn't. LOD. The only time I knew LOD was during the WWE days, or WWF days, and I don't remember them having a manager, except for Sonny. I remember Sonny was with them for a little bit.
That was awful.
I know it was awful, but that's the only thing I really remember of LOD.
No, because Paul Ellering was there. He also then brought in Rocco, which was his ventriloquist dummy.
So yeah.
And he had been with LOD for years before.
Okay.
In Georgia Wrestling, AWA, NWA, all of that. Okay. WCW, he was with them. So
hopefully, like I said, hopefully they Like I said, if he was a manager to one of the guys that would turn heel, that might be interesting. Until they can, I mean, I think Otis is just funny in general, so it would take a little bit for him to to be a believable heel.
He was doing it, and then they went, and all of a sudden the Alpha Academy got over.
Yeah.
So
anyway, we're getting close to the
we
ticker.
are, and I'm just gonna say, we are gonna run the socials. So even though he couldn't be here with us tonight, I'm gonna run Bubba's. You can catch him and myself on YouTube at Bubba OMD or on Twitch at the Boar's Nest with Bubba Duke. Bulkster, I will pass it off to you now, my friend.
Yeah. I'm kind of right now on a medical leave of taking care of myself medically, so I'm not doing too much streaming right now, and I haven't been posting too much. But at the Bulkster Show, or Bulkster Show for YouTube and Bulkster Show for TikTok. You can find me on TikTok. You can find my journey of my medical, me trying to better myself by losing some weight and taking a new medication for that. That's why I haven't been on lately, because it just kind of makes me it'll probably be my last week of that, because this coming Wednesday I have to increase the dosage to a higher amount. And I've heard that, it'll make you feel like you did the first week when you first started, which was it. So, but I know it's for the greater good, for me to help me get my weight under control and my diabetes. And so hopefully, and I've been working on walking a mile a day, and doing that, and that's been helping. So I appreciate everybody supporting me.
I'm proud of you for that, Bulkster. You keep it up. OMD is cheering you on here in Canada. And people, if you want to catch me on the Book of Faces, Daniel Hrycyk, HRYCYK. On Snapchat, One Man Dynamic, capitals on OM and D. On Discord at OMD6370. And on Twitch at OMD17. And if you want to catch all of us here from the Boar's Nest, Turnbuckle Studios, and everywhere else, this is where you can find us. With that being said, and now that you all know where you can see us all, ladies and gentlemen, from all of us here at the Boar's Nest, to those of you out there, wherever you are, good night, good luck, we're out.